Hello and welcome to the Slapshot Syndicate podcast. Be sure to subscribe for more content, and whilst you're at it, go and follow our social media pages. They're on screen now. Now, on to the episode. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Slapshot Syndicate, episode 51 tonight. Yeah, you might see that we're missing a body. That's solely due to the influenza making its way around everybody. Unfortunately, Aaron's not very well, so we're going to pick it up tonight without him, but he's here in spirit and he's sent us some predictions, so I'm sure we'll cope alright without him.
Absolutely, yeah. Unfortunately, it's always better when there's the three of us, but we don't stop doing, we grind through, and obviously Azza would have loved to have been here. He was at the game last night, wasn't he? But he sounded like an eagle. He was like, "Hello, everybody." Yeah. So he just said, for the sake of us not catching it, and with us being in quite a small proximity, he said that we can take the wheel tonight, and he'll be with us in spirit. So yeah.
He's a big missus, Azza, isn't he? Because he's very charismatic and he brings an energy to the pod. They know that probably neither of us can really replicate, but that's a testament to him. I'm sure he'll be back next week once he's got over it. He's had his lemp sips and stuff, and then hopefully it's not one of us. So.
Yeah, definitely not. Fingers crossed anyway.
Yeah, but no, another good weekend. Interesting weekend. Results and stuff not really going the way we would have expected. No,
definitely not. I think up and down the league as well, not just from a Seahawks perspective. Very, very interesting weekend this one. Loads of results where you just think, like, how was that come off? Like, I remember we was all chatting on Saturday, weren't we? None of us was at any of the games or anything like that, but we put a bunch of the results on and was like, what's gone on? Like, what about that result and that result? And absolutely not. Like, it's just nonsense, wasn't it? But I mean, again, we say it every week, but it reiterates why this is the best league around. And it was really good. So it was good. And then obviously we rolled into Sunday. Another few shocks, some definite big scorelines which we didn't expect, and plenty to talk about for the Seahawks.
Well, with that said, then let's move into Seahawks reaction. Okay, welcome back. We're going to jump straight into Seahawks reaction. Saturday night we had a very, very tough opponent in Swindon Wildcats, top of the league, showing why they're in that position, doing the business week in, week out, and to be honest, they seem to be the epitome of pure class, and some of the players they've got in that team are just putting up points week after week after week. So it was always going to be a tough weekend for us, going up against them. Also, you can flip that and say, it's a good test to where you are currently and where you need to be. Difficult one for us to call this one because neither of us watched it, unfortunately. We was all busy. I was out doing some bits. I think you was out busy, and so was Azza. So we normally like to try and get eyes on it, whether it's in person or via the stream. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do that for this one, so we apologise if we get anything wrong. We're simply going off some of the stats that we've seen and a bit of an overview. But for any Swindon or Seahawks fans out there that watch this game, would be very interested to hear what you had to think about the game overall. So we'll start with the result because I think it's important to just get that out there, and then we can go into it from there. So Swindon Wildcats won this one 6-1, and Seahawks' only goal coming from Bobby Chamberlain, of all people, only came in the last 3 minutes of the match. So let's kick it off then. By the looks of it, Swindon started out strong.
Yeah, I think any team going to Swindon this year are going to be up with the task. We know that, don't we? And there's no obviously no illusion as to why they went. I think they went on a 10 win home streak this year. Yeah, they're a really, really solid team there. They've now added the fifth import, Villegas. I don't want to butcher that, so I won't say it too much. So they've got an absolute really good crop of players to choose from there. They've got depth head to toe, haven't they, from bottom to top. Yeah. They've got a really, really, really solid netminder in Rennie Marr.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's always going to be a hard one to go to. Seahawks recently, though, to give them the credit, away from home, they've been good value. They've done all right, even if they haven't picked up the full 2 points. They've gone and give it a good crack, and I think that's what Matty wants really. Since the departure of Sobchak, they wanted consistency, and I think those lines are starting to show now, which is really nice. I think they'll be a little bit disappointed by the scoreline with this one, and I think they would have liked to have tested themselves and pushed them a little bit further towards Swindon in this game. But again, that's why they are where they are, and I think, upon first reflection, 6-1 does seem like quite a heavy scoreline, but I think there'll be plenty of other teams who've been to the link this year and had the same. So
yeah. I would agree fully with that. I mean, like we've just said, it's a really tough place to go to, and not only is it a tough ring, it's against top of the league, so you've got multiple factors, and that's not as justifying the scoreline as such. It is more just an observation of what it is you're going up against, and we have to face this stuff to realise what the level is and where you need to be. But I just wanted to note, obviously, as a starting point for the Hull Seahawks, we had a new netminder. So those of you who don't know, Seahawks have now gone for an import netminder since the departure of Brock Bartholomew due to injury. And we had Heiskanen.
Yeah, Alexander Heiskanen, perfectly,
yeah. So what were your thoughts initially going into this, seeing that he was on the team sheet? And I know there was a little bit of umming and ahhing from some people. Was it the right call to make, putting him in against top of the league as his first game? Is it a baptism of fire? But yeah, what were your initial thoughts on it?
I think if you're going to sign an import netminder, then you put him in first game. It don't matter if it's top of the league or bottom of the league, and that might be an unpopular opinion, but in my opinion, you're paying a netminder to be here, so put him in and give him, a reflection of what the best in the league looks like. So after that, you can look at everything else and say, right, okay, if that's the bar, then I know where I'm setting myself here. Well, let's not be under any illusion. Heiskanen will have played better teams than Swindon.
Yeah.
So if he knows that that's the best, he'll be like, right, now I know how to set myself up and now I know what I'm facing. That's not discrediting Swindon because they are a really, really good team. But in my opinion, when I saw people saying like, oh, maybe we should have put Geordie in and give him the game against Basingstoke, I don't see the point. I say, Matty's put his eggs in that basket of the import netminder, and we'll go into, how he played on the Sunday. We can't really comment on this one about if he played well or not. But I agree with Matty's decision to sort of put him in and sort of give him a taste of what Swindon's like, and I don't think it will have been sort of a great first one for him. I think he'll have wanted the scoreline to be a bit more reflective, but that we don't know personally if that's a reflection on him or what's in front of him kind of thing, in terms of the decor might have had a bit of a wobbly night or something like that.
Yeah. I fully agree with that. So in my opinion, I also think he had to play. If it would have been a D-man that would replace, you would have expected him to play.
Absolutely, or a forward.
I don't see why it's different. And also, we always say when you come into a new team, it takes a little while to bed in, get used to the team, know how they play, and also just because you're between the two pipes, it doesn't mean that's any different. I still think you're gonna have to try and find your home on the ice. And so for me that doesn't change just because it's a netminder, and as long as we can, he gets that experience and he knows, okay, that's what I'm up against. He can learn from it. He can come in a bit stronger, and so for me, right call to make. Put him in the net. You're paying the money for him. You've got him in for a reason. Why wouldn't you? So
I agree. I think in terms of as well, let's just touch on Matty actually going for the import netminder, because we did briefly touch on it a little bit last week. But I think if a lot of people were sort of up and down being like, why haven't you got a defenseman, or why has he gone for an import netminder and things like that. But Matty said a lot of times, he said I had to identify, I went for my team 100 times, I had to look at whereabouts in the team I thought we needed improving the most, and he's identified that as the netminder. So it will be interesting to see going forward if that is the area that needs to be brushed up, and sort of if that improves on that. In terms of him starting again, I agree with putting him in. There was one thing that it didn't rub me the wrong way, but I sort of saw a few comments on the forums and bits and bobs like this. And I think maybe there was, we'll go through, you know, the timings of the goals and stuff like that. And I understand that, you know, they went like 5-6-0 up, I get that. But there was lots of people calling for him, being like, well, all right, bad call to put him in, pull him and put Geordie in and things like that. And we know Geordie's been solid this season. We're not discrediting Geordie at all. But, and I think I saw one person say, oh, netminding's a mental game. And it's like, yes, it is. I appreciate that. But what kind of impact would it have on your netminder in your first game? It's an important netminder if you get pulled after half an hour.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, like, if you're him and you're getting pulled off, can you imagine there's 1,400 people in the link there? Attendance, 1,460 people.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the reception he'd have got if after half an hour he got pulled in his first game as an important
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. That's not really the message you want to send to a new player,
Back
is
him
it?
up.
Yeah, back him. I think Matty's sort of done him justice there by keeping him in the net. You know, he needs that experience. He needs that ice time to get used to it. And frankly, I don't think we'd have pulled him if it was Geordie or Dima either.
Yeah.
I think once that netminder's in there, it can do more bad than good by changing at that point. So to do that is a huge call on many a night, but to do it when it's your netminder's first game it is, in my opinion, it's not the way to go. So I'm glad that he stuck it out, and we'll come into the Sunday fixture and how that panned out. And we obviously got to see that firsthand, so we've got a little bit more of an opinion on the performance.
And me saying that earlier in a jibe or a dagger at anybody, if anyone's sort of seen that and thought, oh, well, actually that's what I said. And I didn't watch the game, so I can't make those comments. But I just think, if we are going to put the 100% trust into players, then we shouldn't really be calling for him to be pulled after half an hour. It's just my thoughts on that. Let's talk about Swindon anyway, because we have spoken about Hull a lot, and I think we do need to give Swindon the credit. We've got a few boys from Swindon I know that regularly check in, so I think it is worth mentioning them. Return for Thomas Malasinski this weekend, and he was a really big factor in the game. I think he scored the first and the last goal, and he got an assist as well. Then you've got Reed Sayers with the second goal, who I think maybe on the third or fourth line, which just shows their depth. Van der Maraka is just becoming one of those players every week where you can just guarantee he's going to get a goal. If that line of Van der Maraka and Villegas, sorry, I keep saying Villegas or Villegas, I don't know which one it is, and Aaron Nell in between those, who's that solid player. That second line looks really solid, and obviously Caden's then gone and got himself the fifth goal. I just think, that even looking at the defence, I think Wellesley's got 2 or 3 assists on that night. And this is another bit of context for you, for Brothers. They didn't have Ben O'Connor in this game.
Yeah, no, interesting that, isn't it? I'm not 100% sure as to the reasons behind
injury,
that.
I think.
Is it an injury?
Which is a shame at this point. Hopefully it's nothing too major. I know that we're saying hopefully. We're not saying it as Swindon fans, but realistically we're not going to go and make the league title now. So it would be good for Swindon to do that, and Ben O'Connor's been a massive part of that. So for him to then be injured for a long stretch would be a massive shame.
Yeah, that must be a bit of a tough pill to swallow for Swindon, but again, it's probably more testament to the performance they've put in tonight. I would love to know what it's like on the other side, so for like a Swindon team going up against Hull Seahawks, because I think again I've seen on forums and stuff where people have sort of labelled us as a bit of a bogey team for other teams. Like from the outside looking in, for me, Swindon's bogey team is probably Basingstoke.
I agree. Yeah, they're always tricky, aren't they?
Yeah, they're always a tricky team, but I know some people see us that way as well.
Yeah.
So as a Swindon fan or a player, I'd love to know how they feel about.
Well, funnily enough, I was on the Macca's podcast not too long ago, wasn't I?
Yeah.
And when I spoke to Jack about the teams, I said, "Who do you like going up?" We asked each of these quick fire questions, and I said, "Which teams do you not like going to?" And Hull was one of them. He said Hull is just one of those where you can never expect anything. You don't know whether they're going to come all guns blazing at you, or you're going to have a night like this. And unfortunately, it was the latter this time. But it's really interesting to see people's perspective on us. And I think later when we go into the league table, this result probably will be overlooked a little bit from our perspective, not Swindon's, because of where we are in the league. We're still sitting pretty nice in the league, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't think it was panic stations. Like as we said earlier, this game, I don't think any of us actually expected to go in and win it. You know, we was hopeful that we might be able to, you know, grind out a result, but the reality is the odds were stacked against us.
Yeah,
so,
and if you can go to the link and and put up a good performance and maybe get a point, like that'd be great. If you get 2 points, brilliant. But I don't think, you know, there'll be hundreds of people standing outside the Hull Arena calling for Matty's name if you don't go and get Swindon. A point off, 2 points off Swindon.
Nah. And if you did, to be honest, I think you need to get your head about.
yeah, pretty much.
That's just not the way it goes.
It's time to step down, Matty. It's time to step down.
There's been a hopeful fan, and then there's absolute just
insanity.
Yeah, insanity. That's the word. But yeah, you know, we won't labour this one too much. Like I say, we want there to see it. It's a shame none of us could watch the stream, but that's the way it goes. However, big pick up for Swindon. Maybe a lesson for Hull Seahawks, and you know what to expect. And if anything, I think it's important to come away with those lessons.
Definitely. Like a bit of a reality check.
You win or you learn, don't you? At the end of the day, so you know you have to be on the other end of it at times to be able to get more out of it. So that being said, then we'll move on to the Sunday fixture, and we had Basingstoke Bison at the Hull Arena. And just wanted to note as well, an attendance of 1,498, which is probably one of the highest again this season for a regular game. I think shame couldn't make the 1,500 mark, but you know, it seems like it's coming, doesn't it? They're doing a really good thing at the moment with like sports teams and stuff by getting them in the door, and you know the social media's
unbelievable,
great at the moment. The publicity is out there for the game, and you know it's getting people in the door. And the more people I talk to on a daily basis, it comes up in conversation.
I was literally about to say the same thing. So I'm going to work on a Monday, and I'll see people come up to me like. A lot of people from our workplace know that we do the podcast. I don't sing and dance about it or anything like that. Yeah. We're a bit of a community of the hockey fans, aren't we? But I had someone come up to me this week and say, "Sir, have you ever heard of ice hockey?" This is a member of staff. Like, yeah. Like, I'll go every week. He's like, "Oh, I went to Hull Seahawks this weekend. It's amazing." He's like, "I've never seen ice hockey before."
Yeah.
A couple of hours later, "Oh, Mr. Ross, you like ice hockey, don't you?" You're like, "Oh, yeah. I went this weekend," and you know, because of what's happening, and the Seahawks are a massive part of it. All Jets do a really good job as well. But mainly, I see a lot of people going on about the Seahawks. The stuff off the ice that they do is amazing. They even got the schools programs where they're getting people in. You know, the social media is fantastic. Even like the traitor stuff, have you seen that with all the like, you know, just it's so good. It gets people going every week, and they play great hockey as well. Like at home, you're always guaranteed a really good game. I won't say guaranteed, but 99% of the time you're gonna have a real good game whichever way it goes. And
what I love about it is the hearts there, whether it's in the fans that have been around since the beginning, talking back to even
ages ago,
the Humberside Seahawks, or if it was the Stingrays or the Pirates, and it's now the Hull. You've got people there that have been and seen it all, and you've also got newer fans like us who got hooked. You've got brand new people walking in the door every week. You've got the socials, and I just think that's a real testament to what Matty and Joe and the rest of the staff that they've brought in to do that. It is a testament to them. I would be lost without ice hockey, whether it's doing this side of it now. I wouldn't know no different, whether it's going to the rink every single week to watch them. I know in that sort of off-season in the summer, you feel a bit lost. You just sort of itching to get it back. So
it's a long way, isn't it?
It's not just I'm invested in this team and I want to see them do well. It genuinely is like a hobby, something that takes your mind off, the rest of the world that's going by you, whether that's negative or positive. It's a good distraction, and sometimes you need that distraction. So I think for all of the flack that they can go through, whether it is Matty, whether it's Joe,
the players,
there might be financial hardship in there. They've got to fund this somehow. The admin behind everything that goes ahead, it is genuinely appreciated, I think, as fans, because we know that we get to turn up every single week and watch hockey.
Absolutely.
So,
and on the flip side, when those people are down the throats of them and things like that, if they weren't putting all of this in, and all those people behind the scenes weren't putting it in, they wouldn't have a team to jibe about, would they?
Yeah, so, I mean, let's be frank. we do a podcast which is nowhere near on a level, and we know how time consuming it can be at times and how difficult it can be to manage that. Most of these other people have other jobs going on. They've got, it's either volunteers, you know, Matty has his own stuff going on. I know Seahawks is part of that, and I know it will be for Joe as well, but he has another business going on. Like it's got to be hard to try and find the time to put it in. So to see it working for Hull in general is really nice, to be honest with you.
The progression as well, or more on that point, the progression for every season is very, very notable.
Because you've got the on-ice stuff and you've got the off-ice stuff, and I think, you know, whilst most people zone in on the on-ice stuff, the off-ice stuff is equally, if not more important,
enticing,
because it's the foundation of what it is you're doing. So yeah, with that said, you know, we'll reiterate that sort of thanks to the club and a little bit of love being shown there. But into the game itself, personally, I was expecting a Seahawks win. I think we're very, very difficult to beat at home, and you know, on the back of a loss, we're almost bounced back, don't we, with a vengeance. It's like sometimes that happens, and then we click into gear and stuff starts happening. But those of you who don't know, Seahawks won the game 4-1. Started out quite neck and neck, didn't it?
It did. It was a bit feisty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it was a bit like gritty. Both teams feeling themselves out, especially in the first period. And unexpectedly, not to discredit the Bison, but they went 1-0 up, Brad.
They did. And I was just going to say that I felt like we were on top for most of that game. You know, we were the aggressors.
Getting chances off and things.
Yeah, they come to our and we was you know, passing the puck around nice. Every line seemed to be on it. You know, we weren't really giving them a break in between lines. So it was a surprise, but they got that power play goal. Will Stead, one of our good friends of the podcast, to be honest, it must be said, coming up with a goal. Assisted by Shankar.
Another one of our guests.
Yeah. It must just be the case, you see. These people come to us and they
sorry, lads.
Prove a point.
At this point, we've interviewed everybody anyway, so everyone's on to Scott.
Yeah. But then unluckily for Basingstoke Bison, that was the only goal they got all night.
Yeah, it was, and to be honest with you, it could have been a lot different going into the second period, because there was a bit of fisticuff sandbag sort of towards the end, wasn't there? And I believe it was Bobby and Bones got binned, didn't they? I think Bones and Brendan Selling, I think it was, or maybe someone like that went together. Or maybe Milton or someone like that. I think they had a bit of...
Something happened in front of the crease, didn't it?
After the bell. Oh, that's right, yeah, sorry. So, yes, me and Azza sort of had a bit of not a disagreement about this, but to my perspective was that, you know, I think Bobby Chamberlain's maybe gone past the netty and sort of like bumped into it. I don't know, I didn't see what happened, but basically, one of their defenders is going towards Bobby. Max Wright then skates out to Bobby and is sort of giving him a lot.
Yeah.
As I said that, Max then hits him with his blocker, and that's why Bobby started throwing the punches. I only saw Bobby throw the punches, so I was sort of like, it's a bit of a wild one, like, I don't know what's happened there. But as I was like, are you joking? Like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, he's just punched the netty. Like, he was like, how was that a penalty? I think it was. And I said, well, he's just punched the netty. Like, that's not it. That's it. It's roughing or it's interference. Like. But he was total disagreement. He thought that Max was the instigator, actually.
See, I do sort of agree with what Aaron's saying there, though. Simply because, again, from where I was stood, I didn't see much going on in the crease. I saw Max's reaction afterwards, and then him coming out to Bobby, and Bobby's then retaliated to it. Yeah. But Max Wright looked like it was after.
Oh yeah,
like, he weren't holding back.
That's not me. Sorry to interrupt, but that's not me saying Max was innocent. By the way, carry on. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, and then we'll just go on to this. Bobby gets the penalty called against him.
Yep.
Let's just have a look.
It was roughing.
For roughing. So to me, there is no interference there.
I think it was the afters. Maybe that was.
It is the afters there.
Yeah.
That and same for Oh no, that was a little bit before it. But when we come into the second period, there was Brendan Sellen called for a roughing,
And
so that
Bob
must have
Bones.
been.
So
From
that's what happened after the sort of whistle won it. So they all came together again. I think Hodge was in there, obviously. But I think Bones and Sellen sort of went at it a little bit.
Maybe a bit. Honestly, I do. I maybe think,
for the Chamber one. Sorry,
I think it was
it's either,
maybe a little bit soft in my opinion, because I think it even as a netmander, if you're going to give it, that you're sort of asking for it. Yes, the retaliation's probably a little bit over the top, but
it ain't like Anthony Joshua tried to scream
but
him
if
in the head.
but if that's the case, but if that's the case, why ain't a player stepping in?
Yeah.
Why ain't someone going and taking care of Bobby for that? It shouldn't have even got to the point where Bobby was in his
My
face.
thoughts on it now are reflecting it's either a poor missed sort of thing from the referee where they haven't seen Max sort of go for the blocker first, or I don't know. Maybe it's either that or Max maybe didn't do it as much. But I don't know. It was hard to say. But I think a lot of people would lean towards the aforementioned, where like if Bobby's going to get something for roughing and Max has it in with his blocker, then Max sort of needs a penalty as well, or someone needs to sit for him, and obviously he won't go to the bench. But it was an interesting one. And then obviously to my original point, we didn't get a goal until Bobby literally stepped off the ice, did he?
I was just going to say that. So in typical Bobby fashion, he sits his penalty, comes out into the second period after his 2 minutes, and 8 seconds into his shift, scores.
Love that from Jumbo.
Yeah, absolutely. So what better way to get back than just to hit him where it hurts in the back of the net. So that put us level pegging 1-1, and then it felt like it was deadlock for a while. Yeah,
you're right. It went so obviously it went into the second intermission at 1-1, didn't it?
Yeah.
It seemed very tight actually. To Basingstoke's credit, I do think they defended quite well.
Yeah.
They have those individual sort of defensemen like Moggy, Shankar, like Ty Cathcart and people like that. Which, when I was watching them, I don't think they actually minded sort of getting a bit tight to like the likes of Chamber. I know Moggy at one point. I saw Moggy like with his arm wrapped around Chamber, and I thought there aren't many people that would do that, because you know what Chamber's like. He'll give you an elbow, he'll shove you off. He's a very physical player, and that's what we love about him.
Yeah.
But I think to Basingstoke's credit, that I can sort of see why they have pulled points away from teams this year by being defensive. Because they don't mind getting a bit rough and tumble. I think at times though it sort of got away from them. So say for example there's like a cheeky high stick or something like that. They really was like getting a bit livid about it, and I think one or two of them maybe like lost their head a little bit. Yeah,
agreed. But that was sort of the story then for another
Second
20
period,
minutes or so, and we go into the third period at 1-1 deadlock. It was in the 43rd minute that Lee Bonner come up, who, can we just say, had a fucking great game. Pardon my French.
Yeah, he was. He was unbelievable. Really, really good. And we will go on to talk about the man of the match. But Bones was a very, 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 for me, very, very, very close second.
Yeah.
He was all over, wasn't he? He was a man. He looked like a man possessed, to be honest with you. I don't know what he had to drink before the game. I don't know what like pre-match ritual he's done or what Matty said in that dressing room, but you can just see he's 110% bought in.
Yeah.
He was everywhere, wasn't he? From the start to the finish.
He was, and I think that's what you get with Bones when he's on it, is you get that sort of player. But he opened the scoring in the third period for us.
Can we talk about the pass as well, by the way?
Yes.
Do you remember? Me and you Huey's passed it to Hayward, and he sort of stood on the left-hand side of the blue line, and I'd say 8 out of 10 defensemen either put it round the boards or they hit the puck on goal.
Yeah.
There's a splitting pass between everybody that everyone just sort of,
straight
including
across,
Max, like sort of just looked, stopped dead, and just a big one-timer from Bones to smash it in. It was like, the pass was unbelievable from Lee Hayward, and Matty's obviously brought him in recently for exactly that, and when he did that I just thought, obviously Lee's been playing really well like last week as well, but I just thought that was really,
it was
really
like
nice.
a clinical, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But very creative.
It turned the tide of the game, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. And to that point, that's exactly what it did. So then Mr. Bo Reader steps up in 49 minutes 50 seconds in with a goal.
Yeah, he's becoming
deserving.
That line's becoming real like trustworthy, isn't it now?
Yeah.
I want to give a big shout out to Alex Kent again because I thought his assist was really nice for this one. I don't know what it is about that line. Owen Brutton, since he's become like the centre on that line, don't know what it is about him, but he's sort of got like a bit of a chip on his shoulder. Like he runs the line, you see him like pointing at Kent and Bo, you know, sort of like, oh yeah, do this. Like he's in charge of that line, sort of.
Yeah.
And you see Kent, and Kent does what he does. He takes these massive strides, and he's always ratting about. And Bo, he plays like he's like 10 years older than he is. I think he's got a sense of maturity that a lot of 16-year-olds don't in our league. He's always in the right place, and this week and last week, that's exactly what's happened on it. Both goals were back post. You know, he was right where he needed to be and banged it in. And another massive goal for both. I'm really happy for him. I think it's really good for him, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's massive. He's a great player, and the fans are real like right behind him, aren't they? So
it's good to see a Hull lad do well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And the final goal came from Mr. Johnny Corneal, who was nice to see on the score sheet.
Nearly ruined his streak.
And well, he did, didn't he, on Saturday?
I saw the streak's over, of course.
Yeah.
Oh wow, fair. But you know, to go 28, 30 games in a row with a point is unbelievable. So fair play to Johnny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, God, I totally forgot about that.
I know. So that was 56 minutes 10 in. So. Yeah, that sort of sealed the deal for us. After that, it was just a bit of ratting about. But just to take it all the way back before we finish this segment, netminder, Heiskin as well. We've not mentioned him in this game. Can I just say that I think like this was an accurate representation of what we're going to get in this netminder, and for me, it was solid. Absolutely
solid. It weren't just saves. It was all the subtle stuff. It was pats to the side. It was looking up before he puts his glove on the puck. You know, let's be fair to Basingstoke. They didn't come and have 12 shots at us. They had plenty of shots. They had 34 shots on the night, and they've only scored one goal. So you know, I think his save percentage was something like 97% on the night, and he was really, really good value. He made some really good saves, probably some saves that other keepers wouldn't have any right to. You know that saying, but I think he was really good. And also one thing I liked, I had someone around us say, the puck just keeps hitting him, but that's because without even seeing the puck, he's already against his post in the right place. So you know, when other netties might be in the middle of the crease or something, and after shift, and it goes in because it's that quick. He's already there. They had him tinging off his head and everything, didn't he? Like it was really good, but I agree 100%. Like if that's what we've got going forward, I'm really confident. Yeah,
really good value for money so far, in my opinion. But. So that wraps up the night, 4-1 to the Hull Seahawks, and you know, coming away with 2 points this weekend was a good result. I would have expected us to do. This Basingstoke team are walkover. We say it week in, week out. These can go and they can pick up points from anyone in this league. So we needed this, and we'll come into the rest of the league and the fixtures and what that's done for us.
Yeah, I'd say just lastly touching on Basingstoke, I put this in the post yesterday with Shankar after we sort of caught up with him after the game, and it weren't just to sort of butter the Basingstoke lads up. I genuinely think Basingstoke could be a team that could go for that 8th position.
Yeah.
The race sort of between those bottom four teams, is really, really tight at the moment, and I wouldn't rule out Basingstoke. I wouldn't rule out any of those four at the moment, to be honest. I know Romford had a pretty good weekend, which we'll go into. But Bristol, Basingstoke and Solway have all got a bit about them, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. So with that said then, we'll wrap up Seahawks reaction and we'll move into the results and standings. Okay, so now we're going to go into the results around the league this weekend, and we'll discuss some of the standings and how that currently looks. So, first and foremost, we had a Friday night fixture. This is 30th of January. Basingstoke Bison hosting the Swindon Wildcats. Wow.
Wow, indeed, mate. This was a game that nearly never was.
Yeah.
In terms of the result, a massive credit to the Basingstoke Bison here. Taking the league champions to overtime. I don't know whether Basingstoke were bottom of the pile or second bottom going into this game, But wow, way to take it to Swindon. So absolutely fair play to them.
Yeah, no, that's a big result. Obviously, Swindon still getting the business done.
Yeah.
Just showing how important it is for them. But I genuinely think, testament to what Swindon have done, but that is the expectation of them now, is that they come away with the results.
Yeah.
Basingstoke have done a fantastic job there, taking them to overtime and getting a point from it, which you can't ask for more.
That's the difference between Swindon last season and Swindon this season. Last season, they said, didn't they? Like, I know Logan said it earlier in one of our Slapshot specials. I think when we spoke to him, he said the difference is, from what he's been told, is last season they lost games, whereas this season they're getting over the line with them.
Yeah.
And like you said, they were down, I believe. They've clawed their ways back, sort of, and they've pulled out a 7-6 overtime win against the Bison. So big credit to the Bison, but massive credit to Swindon.
Yeah. So the next game was Swindon Wildcats on the Saturday versus Hull Seahawks. Now we've discussed this, so we won't go into the detail, but Swindon took this one 6-1.
Yeah.
And then we had the Bristol Pitbulls against the Romford Raiders, which, to be honest with you, was a difficult one to predict, but we sort of looked at Bristol and thought, at home they can be a very, very good team. And I can't remember what I predicted. We'll come into that obviously a little bit later, but I think a few of us might have swung this the other way. Romford Raiders took this one 7-3.
Yeah, very much so. We looked in the favour of Bristol without revealing too much. And a massive credit to Romford, who we've been given the credit at home recently, who've been quite good value at home, but I think they've had a bit of an up and down sort of form away from home. Mm-hmm. And I think when we spoke to Jarrett and Cole, they said, their aim now is to sort of win the home games, win every home game, then just sort of treat every away game as a free hit. Let's just go try and get the points. And I think it'd be disrespect to say that this is a free hit for them in this game, because this is sort of like a battle for that 8th spot, wasn't it? I know going into the weekend, I think these guys with Bristol and Romford were even on points, or like maybe 1 or 2 away from each other. So these were 2 really important games to sort of set yourself away from the rest of the pack. Yeah. And on this Saturday night, the Romford Raiders have done that especially. So a massive credit to them. They've done really, really well. Yeah, great performance from them. I'm not too sure if there was any other contributing factors in the game really, but nonetheless, 7-3, great result. Absolutely. Then we had the Milton Keynes Lightning against the Leeds Knights, and probably the result of the weekend. Yeah, you could say that actually. You could say that in a way. We'll come on obviously to some other fixtures, but for me, looking at that scoreline is crazy this season. I would not have bet money on this. No. If you'd have give me 100 to 1. Well, actually, I would have bet money on this game, but in the other way. If you'd have said to me I'll give you 100 to 1 for MK to beat Leeds 5-1, I wouldn't have put a quid on it. No, I wouldn't have taken that. And that's no disrespect to MK, but I just thought Leeds would be more better value for that, especially with Sam Gozzi in goal. I don't know what's happened there. MK could have just had a really, really good night, but it's a very, very big win for MK at home to sort of look at the rest of the season and be like, right, we know what we did last season at home. We need to get back to that now. And what a win that was against Leeds, who are no pushovers. I know they've had a sort of bit of a wobbly January, but Leeds are Leeds, aren't they? And to beat them 5-1 is a massive result. Really, really big result. Great result for them. Big confidence builder, and for the sake of the league, I hope we see more of it. Yeah, I know Jordan County had a bit of a weldy in this one as well. I think he's just come back recently a few weeks ago from injuries, or maybe a little bit of time before that. But sort of nice to see their individual players sort of stepping up again, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. And then we had the Sheffield Steel Dogs hosting the Peterborough Phantoms. Sheffield took this one 6-1. How many times are Sheffield going to hit Peterborough with a wet fish? Peterborough must be sick of the sight of Sheffield in January. I know. And this was the last day in January, so February was a little bit different. We'll go into their second leg of the double header. But Sheffield just seem to love playing Peterborough at home, don't they? Yeah. I know Brady Parker played in this one, the import netminder, and he had a really, really good game in terms of that. But you would expect a few more from Peterborough maybe, but maybe that just speaks to the testament of Peterborough for Sheffield's defence. Yeah. And the fact that they've got the players like Engin Alden Sommer and Carl Watson who were just going and doing the business further up the ice.
Yeah, great result for Sheffield. Like I said, they seem to, it seems to be Fort Knox there at the moment.
Yeah,
they're scoring goals for fun at their barn. But we'll move on to arguably another result of the weekend.
Yeah.
Solway Sharks hosted the Telford Tigers. Solway won this one 7-2.
7-2.
7-2 against Telford, which is just this season sort of unheard of. And in a Solway team that we know have got the quality, but on the flip side of that, Telford have been
the defence is
very
usually
solid.
Good. You've got a good decor there. In terms of Telford, I can only recall one team that's put a more past them, and it was Swindon. You remember when they beat them 10-1?
Yeah.
But I think after that was a very, very like obscure one. It was an anomaly, wasn't it? Sort of where don't happen very often. But Solway to put 7 past them. I know our mate Johnny Yancey's got a hat-trick in this game, so he'll have really enjoyed this one. But don't know whether it's the Scottish crowd or the boys being up for it. They've obviously got Mason Alderson back now, and they on like a 2-way. He's been a massive pickup for him. And maybe just the fact that they're playing consistent like 4-line hockey might be a contributing factor as well. But take nothing away from Solway. I know obviously we've mentioned a little bit more about Telford there, but it's a massive win that, and that's exactly what they need to do as well. They need to be winning the home games, and they've done it in convincing fashion there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that, like I say, that's arguably what the result of the weekend as well.
Yeah.
But we'll move on to the Sunday fixtures. So 1st of February, Leeds Knights hosted Milton Keynes Lightning, so the reverse of the fixture. Leeds Knights taking this one 7-5. So quite a close game by the looks of things. Milton Keynes have obviously thought, right, we've done it once, let's go get the 4 points off Leeds, which should have been probably something that they wouldn't have expected to come away with. I know Leeds won this one, but I think there's some positives to take away from MK. Leeds though, they seem to be a different team, don't they?
They do.
We've been there firsthand. They make it really difficult for teams, and also their place is electric. It seriously is. Everyone's fan base wants to be the best, but Leeds do have a really good fan base, and in that arena, they make it feel like it could be a Premier League game or something like that. It's a testament to them. So coming away with the result 7-5, 2 points, sharing the points for the weekend. Milton Keynes probably happy with that. Leeds maybe not so much. Yeah,
I just wanted to touch about something you just said as well, and the quality of our league now. Like you look at that game, Leeds and Milton Keynes 7-5. Can you imagine being a fan who was going to the first game and watching that game?
I know.
Ridiculous. I know Sobchak had a really good night on for Leeds. Ollie Endicott got man of the match on the Sunday. I know he had a bit of a torrid time on the Saturday night, didn't he? And he had a bit of a shiner after a run-in with Harry Gulliver. Still came back, all guns blazing, and Leeds have drawn out a really hard game there. But credit to Milton Keynes for putting 5 up against Leeds. Like it's a tough place to go, that, and I'd have loved to have seen this game live, like 7-5. Like what a showcase for our league that is, like unbelievable. I don't know whether it's a case of like really good forwards or terrible defence, but either way, like it'd have been a great watch, wouldn't it? And I think you are right in terms of MK probably seeing 2 points as a fair thinking out of the weekend, but Leeds probably may have wanted a little bit more with Milton Keynes being a bit inconsistent, but you can't complain, especially looking at last season. Those two were the front runners, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. So moving on then, we had the Romford Raiders hosting the Bristol Pitbulls. Again, another reverse fixture out of a double header. Romford Raiders really controlling this one, taking it 10-1.
10-1. I think we usually clap for shutouts, don't we, Bad? But it's only fair.
Yeah.
If it's double figures, absolutely fair play. We spoke about contributing factors earlier on about scoreline. Now, when I looked at this initially, I was like, that's an amazing result, and it is an amazing result. I don't want to take anything away from it. I found out that after the first period, Napier got pulled. I don't know whether that's because of goals or injury or something like that, but you can only play what's in front of you. And I'm not going to take away. I saw loads of people being like, oh, well, if you've got a backup netting and goal, of course it's going to be double figures, or of course it's going to be this, that, the other. No, like, if you're good enough to back up for a national side, You
Yeah.
need to be ready to back up for a national side, and that's not me bashing the backup netty at all.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, you need to give the Raiders the flowers because they've had an absolutely solid game there.
Yeah.
Obviously, CC's only conceded one, and the Raiders have tightened up defensively, which is something that they've struggled with before.
Yeah.
Going forward, Adam Lasham, the captain's had a 6-point night.
Yeah.
With the points that TJ Anderson put up in this game, he's had 9 points over the weekend.
Yeah.
I know Jake Sylvester got a hat-trick in this game. You know, I think Jarrett Baker got 3 assists on the night from defence. Like, you cannot say, oh, well, of course they're going to score loads of goals because you've got a backup. Like, no, they've still got Josh Batch. They've still got all these players, you know, who are really, really solid in front. They've got Jake Bricknell. They've got John Dunbar.
Yeah.
So they will have had to fight for this win. And a 10-1 win is no mean feat for anybody. So regardless if you're top of the league, bottom of the league, anywhere in between, when someone wins 10-1, you need to give them the credit, and that's my 50 pence.
Yeah. Okay, so then we had the Hull Seahawks hosting the Basingstoke Bison, which we've covered. Seahawks took this one 4-1. Then we had the Peterborough Phantoms against the Sheffield Steel Dogs, and Peterborough taking this one at home 7-4.
Yeah, they finally shook them off, haven't they? Maybe it was just January that was a bit of a nightmare with the 2 legs of the cup semi-final, but yeah, I think it'll have been a sweet one for them, this, for Peterborough, won't it?
Yeah, there was odd one, weren't they, really?
Yeah, and I think it might, again, you know what we said for Sheffield, for Swindon, where that one loss every so often might be a good thing.
Yeah.
They obviously lost to Telford the other week and they've bounced back really well. For Sheffield to not have that hanging over their head might have done them a little bit of good. You know, just so they can reevaluate. They will have wanted a 4-point weekend, obviously. But I don't think they'll be sort of looking over the shoulder anytime soon. I think they're sitting pretty comfortably, aren't they? And their focus is sort of more on Swindon at the moment. So, I mean, credit to Peterborough. I know that a couple of players who had a great night. So I think Yanni had a good night again. Cam Huff again. Clark Pizzo got the last goal, I believe. And I don't know if you saw the image of it, but the NIHL posted it, and he scored, and he skated right up to the board where the camera was, and like smashes the board. It's like, come on, but you can see in his face how like relieved there was to sort. I think that might have been like one of the last goals to get it over the line. Like, and Peterborough, to their credit, although they have had a bit of a wobbly January, they're a really good team, and I think they deserve the credit, and they know how to play in their home rink, don't they? So to beat Sheffield 7-4 in the home rink or anywhere is a good result, isn't it?
Yeah,
especially this season.
Okay, so the final game of the weekend was Telford Tigers hosting the Solway Sharks. Again, another double header. So this was the reverse fixture. Telford taking this one 7-5. So very interesting that both of these games, was quite different results. Obviously, they're both notoriously really hard places to travel, so it's quite good to see that both teams can lock down their own ice. That's one observation I've taken from it. But Telford, again, we've seen them at home. We've played them at home. They've got some goals in them there, and they just seem to have that ice locked down. So 7-5 is a good result to come away with the points. Solway putting 5 past them, also a pretty good result for them. The team they played on the Saturday night to the team they played on the Sunday night is probably completely different. Maybe the same personnel, but different beast. Yeah. So 7-5, 2 points each for the weekend, which I'm sure will have done them all right in the standings.
Yeah, I think Telford will be happy with that. I think Solway have got to be happy with that. Scoring 13 goals, or 12 goals, in a weekend, he's showing real good signs in it. I think obviously they would have liked to have shipped a few less away from home, but overall I think they've done pretty well. And when David Thompson gets a hat-trick past you, it's not mean feat, is it?
Agreed. Okay, so we'll take a quick look at the league table. We'll start in first position, which is Swindon Wildcats, who have now qualified already this early in the season. So yes, for the playoffs, I should add. So in order, first position Swindon Wildcats, 39 played, 65 points. Second, we've got Sheffield Steel Dogs, 41 played, 58 points. Leeds Knights in third, 38 played, 52 points. Peterborough Phantoms in fourth, 39 played, 48 points. Telford Tigers in fifth, 40 played, 44 points. Hull Seahawks in 6th, 39 played, 43 points. Milton Keynes Lightning in 7th, 40 played, 42 points. Romford Raiders in 8th, 39 played, 34 points. Bristol Pitbulls in 9th, 39 played, 30 points. Solway Sharks in 10th, 40 played, 29 points. And Basingstoke Bison in 11th, 38 played and 29 points. So, heating up quite nicely. That middle pack is constantly chopping and changing at the moment, and that's going to be interesting towards the meat of this sort of season into the playoff run, to see how that pans out in the final weekend, because that could be very different to what we're seeing now.
One place up or down could be like detrimental, couldn't
Exactly.
it? It's really, really difficult one.
Exactly. You'd have to say, obviously, Peterborough have played 39, they're on 14 points. Hull Seahawks have played 39, they're on 43 points. Telford and Milton Keynes have both played 40, so we've got a game in hand against them. If we theoretically won that game in hand, we end up in the 5th position.
Yeah. That sees us in a group at the moment of Swindon, Peterborough, us and Romford, which isn't easy. But then you look at
arguably the one I'd prefer to be in.
If you looked at the other, you'd be in a group with Sheffield, Leeds, Telford, and MK, or one of them swapping out. So crazy competition going on there, especially like this season with every team being able to beat everybody.
Absolutely. So that's a look into the league standings at the moment. I'm sure we're going to see a bit of movement in the coming weeks, but heating up nicely.
Me and Azza was touching last week as well. Swindon have only got, I think they've got to win 10 games now to guarantee the league, haven't they? They're on 65 points, and the maximum that Sheffield can get is 84.
And I think there's only like 6 weeks or something of regular.
Yeah, I think we've got a 54 game season, haven't we?
Yeah.
So they've got 15 games. So they've got they're allowed 5 losses.
Yeah.
Can you see Swindon losing 5 times?
So
me and Azza said jokingly, we should get a board in here somewhere and just write the number 10.
Yeah.
Once they get a win, 9, and almost do a countdown just for them. If a few of their boys watch, no pressure or anything like that, but you know, it'd be nice to see. But 10 games and it's Swindon's like an amazing season so far, and crazy that it's only January and that's the case.
Yeah, absolutely.
They could have it done in 5 weeks.
I know.
How bad is that?
It's crazy. Well, that's a review of the results of the weekend and the current standings, and we're going to move on to this week's Team of the Week. Okay, welcome back. This is the part where we go into this week's Team of the Week. As always, there could have been plenty of candidates for this, and we've had to narrow it down to 5 with a few honourable mentions. So with that said, we'll jump into it. Netminder this week is Romford Raiders, Hull CC. Statistically, he's been the best netminder in the league this weekend. Helped contribute to a massive 4-point weekend again for Romford in difficult fixtures. Conceded only 4 goals all weekend, so had a save average of 92.83% overall. He's a solid keeper, and we knew he was an import, so we had an idea he was going to be good. We've got to witness him firsthand, and he stood on his head, multiple times for Raiders. So yeah, it's nice to see him in this week's Team of the Week, and I think well deserved after the results. We
probably didn't recognise how good he was actually going to be coming in. He's been massive for them, and I think last year they probably struggled a bit in terms of netminding, didn't they?
Yeah.
But if they've got him, they've got a chance, I'd say. I know obviously they've had a bit of a wobbly period and stuff like that, but he'll be so crucial to them going into the playoffs, especially with obviously what he did last season. He went and basically won the playoffs for his team in America.
Yeah.
So absolutely fair play to him. Don't worry, everybody. It's not going to be all Romford Raiders this week, as we have as we go into our defencemen, and we've got a Swindon Wildcat, and surprise, it's Ryan Wells.
Yeah.
Another 4-point weekend for the Cats this week. And again, even in the absence of Ben O'Connor, Ryan was once again in and amongst it. Let's just say. They had a tough night on Friday defensively. Obviously, they shipped 6 goals as a decor, but Ryan did chip in for 4 assists in that 7-6 overtime win. As a decor, there was much better on the Saturday. Obviously, beating our beloved Seahawks 6-1. and Ryan picked up another 3 assists, so he got 7 assists over the weekend in just 2 games.
Phenomenal. He is a very, very good defenseman, obviously able
Both
to do,
ways.
I was going to say, do out the back moving forward, but 7 assists for a D-man is, something to shout about in it, really. If you've got him in your team, then
there's no wonder
what can you ask?
Yeah, there's no wonder they've signed him up again for next year.
Yeah.
As alongside Ben O'Connor, like that first line pairing, if they're both on first line, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? Even if not, if you've got those two split between 2 lines, you're always in for a shout, aren't you? So fair play to Ryan. He's probably been on our team of the week a good 3 or 4 times now.
And if not more.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on, our second defenseman in this week's team of the week is Romford Raiders, and it's Jarrett Baker. So we know how good Jarrett Baker is. He's popped up a few times. We've had discussions about him, but this weekend in particular, he's helped at both ends of the ice, and we've got a big 4-point weekend for and again mentioning they've had a couple of tough fixtures, really, and chipped in with an assist whilst keeping Bristol at bay. That was the 7-3 win, and then turned it up a level on Sunday with 3 assists whilst only shipping 1 as a defence in that massive 10-1 win. 5th time this season in our team of the week.
Baker.
Yeah.
Speaks volumes, that, doesn't it? I know at certain points, I don't know whether he is or not now, and that's maybe something I should have looked at. I know that he was leading the defensive goal scoring in terms of points. Probably not now because Ryan Moore's just gone and got 7 assists. But he's always up there in terms of points. He's very, very important to them. I think he's a big player in their power plays and things like that. So fair play to Jarrett. 5 times on team of the week is really good. We do like to be selective as well. We don't always like to go for the same players, but you've got to give credit where it's due, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. If people are cropping up week in, week out, we can't deny them. Absolutely. In a similar vein, we are going to stick with the Raiders as we go into the forwards. So the first being TJ Anderson. So again, it was a massive weekend for the Raiders, which is what we've put in our notes. That was largely owed to TJ's form this weekend. So he scored 9 points over the weekend with 2 goals and 2 assists on Saturday, and then 2 goals and 3 assists on Sunday. And I think more to the point, the Raiders have got a 4-point weekend against one of their massive rivals for a playoff spot in that 8th position. So you really need players to be on it. So 9 points over 2 games is spectacular, and a good one for TJ. This is he's now the Romford Raiders top point scorer, imports or not imports, with 56 points in 37 games. Now if you got that from a 21-year-old Brit. Or 22-year-old maybe, you can't ask for much more, can you, Brad? No, absolutely, it's some performance. Okay, moving on. This guy is not a Romford Raider. He is part of the Milton Keynes Lightning, and it is no other than Jordan Cowney. Jordan Cowney, he crops up. I wouldn't say he's been as good as he has been in previous seasons, but he still, when he turns it on, he's there, isn't he? And he's had a great weekend against a really tough competitor in Leeds Knights in their double header. So on Saturday night he bagged 2 goals with a 5-1 win, and then on Sunday he kept them in the match right until the end with 3 assists and added their last goal too. So whilst they've split the points, I think it's fair to say he's been a massive driving factor in the result they've been able to achieve. So well done, Jordan Cowney.
Yeah, fair play. And then finally, we're going to sound like we're going on and on and on, but these guys scored 17 goals over the weekend, so it'd be a criminal case if we didn't put another Raider in the team of the week. So that's what we've done. And this week, our final forward is Captain Fantastic Adam Leishram. He, like I say, captained the Raiders to a huge 4-point weekend against Bristol. On Saturday night, Leishram scored Romford's 2nd goal of the game in a massive comeback win, because one thing we didn't touch on actually is that Bristol went 1 or 2 or maybe 3 up in the game, and then Romford came back with like 7 goals, which is crazy. Not just that, but on Sunday, he might have had the game of the season for any player, because he scored 6 points. He got 2 goals, 3 first assists. So not just like You know, he's passed it to someone who's passed it to someone to score. He's got
yeah.
2 goals, 3 first assists and 1 second assist. And for me, if my captain's doing that, I'm buying every shirt available. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, you really need that sort of player and presence to be, you know, a big game player in your team and a presence. And Leish has done that massively this weekend. He's been fantastic for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. So, congratulations to all those that made it in this week's Team of the Week. There's a couple of honourable mentions to those players that all got hat-tricks this weekend. So that goes to David Thompson, Johnny Yancis and Jake Sylvester, all getting hat-tricks.
Crazy. Any other weekend, lads. Any other weekend, but a big shout out to you guys, and there'll be other players around the league that we probably haven't mentioned.
Yeah.
But yeah, a massive, crazy goal scoring weekend this, Brad.
Unbelievable. Here for it though. Love
Absolutely,
it.
yeah, definitely.
So that wraps up this week's Team of the Week. We're going to move on to our scores on the doors and the upcoming predictions. Welcome back. So, as mentioned, this is the part where we'll go into our scores on the doors and then we'll take a look at the upcoming fixtures of the week. Obviously, we're missing a body, so we'll have to report back to him what he's done, and hopefully, we'll see where it is and whether we are in the standings, whether he's happy or not. But over to you, Mr. Ross, with the scores on the doors.
Yeah, and first of all, mate, do you want to get your cup out, because you've had quite a tight grip on this, haven't you?
I do, yeah.
Brad did catch last week's episode and was very happy to hear that he had won again, wasn't you?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Very, very proud of himself. And to be fair, mate, you know, from a couple of weeks ago, where Azza got that mad week and it seemed to sort of split us in 3 quite a lot.
Yeah.
The gap is it's closed a lot.
I'm getting some good results. It's just when I'm winning, I'm not winning by massive
You're
points
getting
to build up.
2 extra points out your and you need a week where you get 10 and we get 2 or something, which will just put you right in there.
Exactly.
But regardless, I think you may have won the cup the last 2 or 3 weeks. So absolutely fair play. In spite of that, let's go into this week's fixtures. And before we start, how do you think you did?
Honestly, I think this was a bit of a banana skin of a week.
For all of us.
Yeah, definitely. I think fixtures were going against us, to be honest. I'd be very surprised if any of us got sort of 6 points, to be fair. So, yeah, must have been close, because I feel like when we was doing the predictions, a lot of us had gone a similar route. Yeah. So, yeah, please do enlighten.
Well, I think this week, going into the fixtures, we're definitely not going to have that. There's going to be some splitters, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
But this week, you aren't wrong, Brad. So we'll do what we normally do. So going into the weekend, Brad was on 131 points, only very close behind me with 138 points, who isn't that far behind Azza in top spot with 146. So 15 points from top to bottom, which a while ago would have seemed unthinkable, because Azza did have a big stretch, didn't he? So yeah, an interesting one. So I can confirm that this week one of us scored 6, like you said, out of 11 games. One of us scored 7, and one of us scored 5.
Right, okay.
So again, like you said, not too big of a gap there.
Yeah.
I can confirm that the person who scored 5 was Mr. Corcoran.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
so unfortunately for Azza, he only predicted the Swindon and Hull game correct, Sheffield and Peterborough home leg, the Leeds and MK home leg, and Hull and Bison and Telford and Solway. There was no correct scores this week, so the person who's won, should we both have a little grip on it?
Yeah, go on then.
The person who's won this week, who got 7 points, he's done it again.
Yeah.
He's done it again. Would you believe it?
Come on.
He's must be 3 or 4 weeks in a row now. He's
I'm on it, mate. Comeback's on.
Really closing that gap, mate. Yeah, I got 6. Tricky week, mate. Tricky week.
It's so tough though. Like I just said, that when I win it's minor points. So what is the 2 points from top to bottom in this weekend?
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking at it now, and I didn't count the points for Sheffield and Bison, but we all got that correct anyway. So actually, Azza's got 6, I've got 7, and you've got 8.
Okay.
But even so, I was just looking there thinking I've only got 4 zeros on man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I only got 4 incorrect. But yeah, mate, you guessed every fixture correct other than 3, which on a topsy-turvy weekend like it was, it's no mean feat, mate, to be fair. So credit to you, absolutely credit to you. So the standings are now looking like this. So with that extra point, Brad is now on 139 points. I'm on 145, and Azza is on 152.
Okay.
So I'm only 6 points ahead of you now, and Azza's only 7 points ahead of me. So what's that? 13 points top to bottom.
Yeah. Closing that
you
gap.
are really closing that gap, mate. So fair play to you. You're really making it back.
Cool. Well, let's see if I can build on that. So we'll have a look at this week's upcoming fixtures. Now, me and Alex will predict this live. Aaron has already predicted, so we will put that on screen to show you. And anyone else who's predicting us, let us know what you think. So we'll start on Friday, 6th of February. We've got Swindon Wildcats against the Leeds Knights. I'll take this one first if you want.
You can go for it there.
Yeah, so I'm going to go for a Swindon win. Just mainly because it's Lincoln. Not because I don't think Leeds have got it in them. I do, but as the table will tell you, Swindon have to be the favourites here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for a 4-3.
That's interesting. I was going to go similar, so I was going to go for Swindon. I will go for Swindon. I can see Azza sort of maybe going cheeky for Leeds here, but it's whether you play the safe game or not, and you bet against Swindon at home.
Yeah.
Leeds were probably the last team to go and get points there, though. But in retrospect, I will go for Swindon. I'm going to go 5-2 to Swindon.
Interesting, yeah. Okay, so we'll move on into the Saturday fixtures, which is Hull Seahawks at home, a very rare Saturday fixture home game for us. So against Telford Tigers, so always a good matchup between these two. It can get feisty. You don't really know what you're going to get actually with these teams, so it's quite a difficult one to predict. Do you want to take the reins on this one first?
I will take the reins on this one, mate. I'm going to back Hull Seahawks at home. Shock horror. I just think that we are a different beast at home, and I say it every weekend. I was going to go 5-3 to Seahawks, but actually, with the confidence I have in our new netminder, I'm going to go 5-2. Which isn't a massive difference, is it? Yeah. But I just think he is worth that extra goal.
I didn't think of that, actually, but you've just helped me with my prediction. I was going to go Hull Seahawks again. I just think we're a bit of a different beast. And it's a bit of a trip from Telford down to Hull. So yeah, Hull Seahawks for me. I'm going to go for a... Do you know what? I'm going to go for a 4-2.
Interesting, very interesting. And obviously you can see on the screen Azza's prediction now, which I hope will be a Hull Seahawks win, but I can see him going for a Telford win.
Yeah. Swindon Wildcats versus the Romford Raiders, so double header at home for Swindon, Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, big double header for Swindon at home, and again when they've got that countdown in their changing rooms of the Big Ten that we've been fabricating, this is a big opportunity for them to knock a few off. I will go for Swindon, and despite Romford's best efforts this weekend of scoring all them goals, I don't think it'll be as easy at the Link. I'm going to go 5-2 to Swindon. Yeah.
I'm also going to go for Swindon. Agreed. I don't think Romford are going to find it as easy to ship some goals past them. I'm going to go for a 7-3.
Interesting. I don't think this will probably be one where Azza will be going the opposite way. We'll soon see.
Basingstoke Bison against the Peterborough Phantoms. Now, this could be a bit of a tricky game, because both of these teams can, get involved in the gritty side of it. Peterborough have got a lot of firepower. Basingstoke are very good defensively. Could be an interesting one.
Do you want me to go on a limb on this one?
Yeah.
I'm going to back the Bison on this. I don't think Peterborough are 110% confident on the road, if I'm honest. I think they're really good in their rink, but you look at what happened recently in Sheffield and other bits and bobs like that. I know it's Sheffield and they're a bit different to Basingstoke, but after what I saw this weekend, Basingstoke locked us down for a long time. So I think in their home rink where they've got all the fans and stuff there, I don't know. I'm going to back them. I'm going to back them to win, and I'm going to go 3-2. 3-2 Bison.
Interesting. I can see where you're coming from there, to be honest. I'm going to go the other route, though. I'm going to go for Peterborough. Simply, it's a numbers game.
It's understandable.
Dinner, if I'm going to pick up points, maybe this is one of the games to go for. So, for me, I'm going to go for Peterborough, and I'm going to go for a 5-3 victory.
Fair. I can see that.
So, then we've got Milton Keynes Lightning hosting the Sheffield Steel Dogs. This could raise some eyebrows, in my opinion, after Milton Keynes' performance against Leeds this weekend. It could prove very interesting. So, I'll go first on this one. I'm going to go for a Sheffield win, just because that's what my heart's telling me. I do think MK have got it in them. They've proven that now. So, might end up with egg on my face, but I'm going to go for a Sheffield, and I'm going to go for a 4-3.
I don't think you will have egg on your face, mate. I'm going to follow you down the same path. I did want to go for Sheffield anyways. I do rate MK obviously at home, but I think even when they lost to Peterborough this weekend, they've lost 7-4, aren't they? They'll still give it a good go, aren't they? And I think Sheffield have been to MK a few times this year and done quite well. So I'm going to go for Sheffield. I'll go for a 5-3. What did you go for?
I went for a 4-3.
4-3. Yeah, I'll go 5-3 Sheffield.
So then we've got Solway Sharks hosting the Bristol Pitbulls. This one could again be interesting. We know Solway have got goals in them. Bristol maybe struggling a little bit. And I'll say this now, it's a double header in Solway.
Yeah.
I don't mind taking this one first. For me, it's going to be Solway Sharks. I actually think it could be quite heavy. I'm going to go for a 6-2 victory for Solway.
Nice. Well, we saw what they did last week against Telford, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
And I was hoping that you might be swayed towards Bristol. It's hard not to back Solway at home, and I'm gonna back them as well. I'm gonna back them to win 5-2.
Yeah, interesting. So following a similar sort of thing there, aren't we?
Yeah, I wonder if Azza will go down the Bristol route.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
So, as mentioned, double header. So it's again on the Sunday, Solway Sharks versus Bristol Pitbulls. I'm going to go for more of the same. However, I don't think it'll be as high scoring. I think they tend to take teams off guard a little bit in that first game. Second game, you come back knowing what to expect a little bit more, and you tend to sort of lock down a bit. So I'm still going to go Solway win. I'm going to go for a 4-3 victory.
Oh, me and you we're literally thinking on the same wavelength. Yeah. I 100% agree there. Bristol will have a full night's sleep in Dumfries. They won't be having that ridiculous journey. Can you imagine that journey from Bristol to Dumfries? Jesus, that must be what, 7-8 hours?
Surely.
Easy. Yeah. That's crazy. So yeah, they'll be a little more refreshed. I'm gonna go for Solway to win. I'm gonna go 5-4, and I'll even go for an extra point and say overtime.
Wow. Okay. So then we've got Romford Raiders versus the Hull Seahawks at Romford. Now this could be a really tricky game. We've not had bad away form recently. We talked about that earlier. Romford have had some really good home form. Yeah. So for me, this could be quite a high scoring game.
We've done all right at Romford as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just because I know we can do it, I'm going to back Hull. Don't think it's going to be easy, but I do think it'll be high scoring. I'm going to go for a 6-4.
Yeah, fair. This number 6 came to me as well, actually. I won't go down the same vein in terms of that high scoring. I will back Seahawks for a 4-point weekend, foolishly or not, because I know what we're facing here, and Romford have proved that they're no pushovers at home.
Yeah.
I'm almost seeing Azza pick Romford and pick up a point here. But again, I'm backing the new netminder. We seem to be in good form all the way from first to fourth line, so why not? I'll back us to win. I'll back us to win 4-2. 4-2 Seahawks. Good. Come on, the Seahawks. No offence, Romford.
Okay, so we've got Peterborough Phantoms hosting the Leeds Knights now.
Can't call this.
No, this is very tricky. Very tricky.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go on then.
I'm going to back Leeds to win, and I'm going to back them to win 5-4, and I think it's going to be right at the death. If I'm correct, this is a repeat from the other week. This where Peterborough like fudged it up a little bit and gave Leeds the game in the end of the game. Was that Leeds? I think it was Leeds. There was in control, weren't they? And they gave away 2 real stupid penalties and then went and lost. I think that was Leeds. I'm gonna go. Did I say 5-4? 5-4 Leeds.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna back Peterborough in this one.
4-point weekend for Peterborough.
Yeah, I know. It's obviously Leeds have shown that they can wobble recently. It's tough to bet against them, but Peterborough at home for me, they can be really good. And if Leeds do have a bit of a wobble, I think it's there for the taking. So I'm also gonna go for a 4-3, but in the favour of Peterborough.
Nice, right there.
And the final game of the weekend is the Telford Tigers hosting the Basingstoke Bison. I'll take this one first, seeing as you just went first on the last one. I'm going to go straight in there with a Telford Tigers victory, and I think it was going to be a 5-3 win.
I'm going to go similar. I'm going to go 4-1 to Telford.
4-1,
no offence to the Bison. They'll have a very, very tricky game against Peterborough the night before. I can see them sort of getting 2 points there and sort of not maybe gassing themselves out, but putting all their eggs in that home basket and then going to Telford for a free hit. But Telford, I don't think they've got a game, have they? They've got us, haven't they? So they might be a little bit beat up, and if they've come off a loss, they'll want to make that right, won't they? In the jungle. So I could see them picking up a win, but. It'll soon be said, won't it?
Yeah, so that wraps up this week's predictions. As always, get involved. Please feel free to send us yours. We'd love to hear from them. It also wraps up another episode 51. Thanks for tuning in. The interaction, the follows. Please do like, subscribe, share things that we send out. It does really help us on our journey. We've reached 1,000 followers now on Instagram. Yep. We're trying to capitalise on some of the other socials, including Facebook. So if you follow us on Instagram and maybe not on Facebook, please do replicate that and go onto Facebook as well. But genuinely really appreciate it. Hope you're all looking forward to the meat end of the season and how it's going to start heating up. I know we are, but genuinely thank you. Anything from you?
Just reiterating what you're saying there, mate. Just really appreciate everybody for being involved in every aspect of us, really. Obviously our main Slapshot episodes are doing great at the moment and we're really enjoying it, aren't we? Our socials are booming. We absolutely love the interaction from you all, even down to the polls on a Saturday and Sunday. I know people like that kind of thing, which is great. Don't mind doing those. Facebook's going really well as well, so you guys are growing. Maybe I might need to pull my finger out a little bit with X, but it's just one of them, isn't it? Facebook and Instagram's where it's at the moment, unfortunately. But keep sharing everything. Obviously Azza will keep putting the episodes up on Spotify for you guys who want to listen to it on the journey to work or in the office. That's not a problem at all. And also be sure to let us know now that we've hit 1,000 subscribers, what you want from us now. There's going to be more Slapshot specials coming. There's going to be a few with some Seahawks, I believe, which is pretty exciting. I know the Seahawks fans will be excited to see that. But I especially want to go around the merry-go-round as well. Azza and Brad have given me full free reign with the Slapshot specials, and they obviously are going to jump on a few as well, aren't you? But if you want to see your team, by all means, let me know. Who do you want to see? Whose stories do you want to hear? And maybe they might just comply. Yeah. So.
Thank you very much. Catch you in the next episode.
Slapshot Syndicate, pure ambition. 3 mics, 1 mission. Azza and Rossy, yeah, that's the crew. Dropping knowledge, what you gonna do?